What's happening? Landlord from Alabama here, back with another video. And today, man, we finna talk about the recent comments from your owner, Mr. Jerry Jones, talking about CeeDee Lamb is an upgrade over Amari Cooper. You know one thing about Jerry Jones, he's a master salesman. He knows how to stir up the pot. He knows how to ruffle some feathers. He knows exactly how to get the people going, and he did just that with these comments. But when it comes to comparing CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, to be fair, I really don't feel like Kellen Moore was using Amari Cooper in the right way. That's just my opinion. I really feel like Coop could have did more and produced more if he would have been allowed the targets and the opportunities. But let's get into some of the comparison between CeeDee and Coop. Now, me being a big Bama fan, that means I seen every single game that Amari Cooper played in college. And with him coming to Dallas, I seen every game he played in Dallas. But to be honest, I didn't see nothing from the Raiders, cause like, who wants to watch the Raiders? But I did see a lot of stuff that Coop did, so I feel like I'm pretty qualified to say what I want to say about how good or bad Coop could be or is. So I did my best to break it down into a few categories: speed, hands, catch radius, chemistry, and character, just so we could try to get to the bottom of this comparison. So first, let's talk about the speed. Now, on paper, Amari Cooper is faster than CeeDee Lamb. Amari ran a 4.42, I believe, and CeeDee Lamb only ran a 4.51. And even though that's just some fractions of some seconds difference, Coop is the faster receiver on paper. But I would argue that Coop has so many injuries to his lower body. He has so many hamstrings, so many ankles, so many foot injuries that I would argue that was like 6 years ago when they did his 40 time, or that's probably what they going off of. And I don't believe that Coop is still that fast. I don't believe that Coop is still that same guy who we seen on paper. I think it's fair to say that Coop lost a small step. So in that case, I probably call this category a wash, because I know I'm not getting prime draft Amari Cooper when I'm doing this speed comparison. So I'll say this a tie, in my opinion. Let me know down in the comments if you disagree. Of course, Coop got better speed on paper, but I don't think it's valid at this point in his career with him going through so many injuries. Now let's get into the comparison about their hands. Now, right off the bat, you probably say that Amari Cooper has better hands because he has a less amount of drops. But in the last 2 seasons, Amari Cooper only has 8 drops in total. And CeeDee Lamb doubled that. To be fair, he has 16 drops. So I know that's a lot. I know that's a whole lot of drops he has on his resume. But I would argue that drops is not just the prime indicator of a receiver catching ability. Jerry Rice in his rookie year, he had 10 drops. So let's just take that into perspective. Drops is not the only thing that indicates if a wide receiver can catch or not. So we know it's a lot of different things that could make a wide receiver drop the ball. Maybe he was out of rhythm. Maybe he was blinded by the sun. Maybe it was a bad pass by the quarterback. It's a lot of variables that we don't know, but drops is not the end-all be-all when it comes to evaluating a wide receiver's hands. So if we going off the eye test evaluating their hands, I would give Coop a solid 8. But I'll give CeeDee probably a 9. We all know that catch that CeeDee Lamb made on Minnesota from Andy Dalton, when he just threw the ball, a straight crazy pass, a duck, all on the wrong shoulder and all. CeeDee contorted his body and caught it with like 2 fingers. It was an insane catch, and that was just ridiculous. You can call me a homer if you want to. I'm rocking with my boy CeeDee Lamb in that category as well. Now let's compare the route running. Now, there's no argument that I can make to say that CeeDee Lamb is a better route runner than Amari Cooper. This is where he shines. This is where he shows that he is a different type of difference maker. On a scale of 1 to 10 in route running, I would say that Amari Cooper is probably like a 10. And CeeDee Lamb would be like a 7.5, maybe a 8. He is inexperienced. He only been in the league 2 years. I feel like he can get better, but this is a hands-down dub for Amari Cooper in this category. If we comparing chemistry, to be fair, right off the bat, Dak had great chemistry with both of these wide receivers. Day one, Dak had great chemistry with Cooper. Soon as he came from the Raiders, they clicked immediately. Soon as we drafted CeeDee Lamb, he just acted a fool soon as he came to the Dallas Cowboys. Dak needed no time to adjust or get used to the player. He was already on the same accord. But when you hear Dak talk about CeeDee Lamb, he get a glimmer in his eye. We seen him on Hard Knocks. He said he just walks up under them deep balls. It's just easy to throw the ball to him. So with him talking like that, in my opinion, it seems like he leaned more towards CeeDee Lamb. When we look at that production, CeeDee Lamb had more targets than Amari Cooper did. We know that Amari and Dak had a nice connection, but down the stretch, it seems like that connection fell off a cliff. And he was looking to CeeDee Lamb direction more times than not. Now, if we talking about character, it depends on what kind of wide receiver one you want. They said Dez was too much of an alpha. They saying that Amari Cooper is not enough. And in my opinion, I think CeeDee Lamb falls in the middle of both of them. I think CeeDee has a much more dominant presence in the locker room. He's much more outspoken. We know that Amari was a man of very few words. CeeDee has a much bigger personality, and he seems like he demands more respect than what Amari Cooper did. But honestly, I think this category comes down to preference. But in my preference, I want someone who is not afraid of the moment, someone who's ready to take on that role, ready to step in and demand his respect. So in my opinion, CeeDee wins that category as well. So overall, we know CeeDee Lamb had the better year on paper and in production, and he emerged as the #1 receiver and took over that role. And in my opinion, Amari should have never let that happen. He did speak and say he needed more targets, but that fell on deaf ears. You should demand more targets with your production and how you act and how you carry yourself on the field. But to respond to Jared's comment saying that CeeDee is an upgrade over Amari, in my opinion, he's right. But I feel like, to be fair, we won't really know until the season starts and see what kind of production and see what kind of leadership and see how strongly CeeDee Lamb take over this #1 wide receiver role. But with that being said, that's all I got for you today, man. Just holler at your boy, Landlord from Alabama, with the same handle on all social media. And like I say, 1K, 1 love, Cowboys Nation. Let's go.